good afternoon, and good morning wherever you are, because this is a global participation. So probably people are joining from different time zones. Um, so in today's webinar, we will be discussing about digitalization of calibration process with our solution, Crave cCalibration solution, which is specifically for pharma industry. And today we have Mr. Ashish Sarode, who will be our subject matter expert and product owner for cCalibration. See, it's Crave calibration solution, and myself, Muralidhar Remne. So I take care of business and operations from Crave side, and I will be just briefing you in few minutes about the organization and the portfolio, and we before starting the session. So I'll take few minutes to brief you who we are and what are our service offerings, and then we'll immediately start the session. So I hope my screen is visible to all. Paresh, could you please confirm me whether the screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. So uh, here, if you look at the screen, we just quickly take you through about our service offerings. This is about Crave. The organization was started 13 years back, and right from inception, we are closely associated with SAP. We are SAP partner for sale build services, as well as we are also closely associated with Zebra, which is a premium mobile computing services provider, and we are premium ISV as well as reseller of Zebra devices. So along with that, we are also partnered with Here Technology, which is geo enablement solution, and we'll come to that. We'll brief you about that more. So with these three partnership, in fact, we are having our physical bases in New Jersey, India, Brazil, and Africa, and from there we are serving our global customers. We have a number of customers in North America, in Europe, some of them in Africa and Asia. And our offices here in India, our office is in Pune, Hinjewadi. So this is just a brief about our service offerings, what we do, the digital transformation portfolio, what we have. So if you look at here at left hand side, we have shown these four services, mainly main service offerings of the organization. So SAP Intelligent Enterprise, in which we work with implementations, migration, customization, and support services in ECC S4. Then uh, we have our own pre-packaged solutions, almost 40 plus pre-packaged solutions touching every functionality of the organizations, and I'll brief you on that. So these all solutions are available on SAP App Store, SAP App Center. Then Zebra and Geo Enablement from Here Technology. So these are the basic services offerings. With this, we cater to these focus areas. At right hand side, we have complete portfolio for warehouse management, then enterprise asset management, and we'll look to discuss about that, field service and supply chain. And along with that, there are multiple applications in other certain functionalities. So we work in, we have our dynamic modular through which we can quickly develop the applications from for organizations. We also work in AI and RPA blockchain offerings. So this is the complete portfolio of pre-packaged solutions other than SAP services. Okay. So if you look at this is the chain diagram. The second circle in the diagram shows that enterprise asset management portfolio, and we have focused activity here completely for pharma industry. So C maintenance, which out of that we will cover today the calibration application, but in C maintenance, breakdown, preventive, then calibration, field service manager, flexible scheduling, planning workbench. These all are modules we are covering in complete enterprise asset management portfolio. Along with that, we have different applications for supply chain. In first is the again complete uh, ex- uh, major application is warehouse, C warehouse, in which we are covering the complete warehouse management for RM as well as finished goods, covering inbound, outbound, cycle count, um, stock transfer, stock returns, and all the applications. Then DSD, this is again in current pandemic situation need of the organizations, in which we are covering delivery, field sales, field returns, route optimization. So digitalization of this entire process, complete paperless activity. And there are some other applications like vendor connect, so it's a vendor portal with the complete vendor side automation. Similarly, we have customer side automation with order management application. If you look at order to cash here, so there is complete sales order automation application with C order, and customer portal automation with C customer portal, in which customer can view the catalog, add it to cart, do the payment, track the deliveries, and so on, all the activities from customer procurement point of view. So along with that, we have management dashboards, multiple approvals. These are again different modules for organizations. And we have human capital management, HR automation in terms of employee performance, recruitment, time confirmation, all those activity automation, which further is getting integrated with your SAP module. So this is the brief portfolio of the organization. Along with that, we have complete um, comprehensive ERP for healthcare, in which different 46 modules are covered. So these all um, applications are available on SAP App Center also. These are easily integrated. These applications easily get integrated with your backend ERP, SAP. So we cater to these industries. Life science is our major focus. Along with that, automobile manufacturing, healthcare, utilities. These are the other industries we work with. Just brief about major clientele in pharma industry. We have really some good names to our credit, including DRL, Sanofi, Sun, Microlab, and so on. So along with that, there are some other customers, major customers globally. You will find some names like Invista, Siemens, Cintas, Comscope, Cooper Standard, and so on. So this is just about the organization, Crave Infotech offerings, customer uh, in various industries. And now I'll come to today's agenda. So today we'll be seeing that how calibration management, we are providing the solution through cCalibration for paperless activity. And that is very important from COVID-19 disruptions and rising customers expectations, because a lot of digitalization activities are going on there. So how to digitalize calibration to gain efficiencies and cut cost and scale the operations. Okay, so this is today's agenda. We will see the demo of the application, we'll brief you about the success story, and then we'll end up the session with question and answer. So when we talk about calibration, and before I hand over it to Ashish, I just wanted to talk a minute on the current challenges what we observe at industry, in pharma industry especially. So increased overall compliance, so expectation, and that CFR 21 point of view, when date and time stamping, the login credentials, the digital signature on certification, and so on, all those expectations that these are the expected requirements from any solution today, and these are the current challenges at industry when we do all the paperwork or paper activity. So this is covering the compliances, number one. Then real time evidences in execution, because this is again challenge, because what we do is the time consuming activity when we do the paperwork, and so no real time evidence is available in execution. Data captured on paper during execution. So paper copies have to be maintained. That is again one of the headache, and time consuming maintenance process due to multi-level approval and paperwork. This is the same, I mean, the point which we wanted to brief you here again. So these are the challenges at marketplace, in the industry, and we are covering all those challenges. We are catering to those and increasing the efficiency through our solution. So if you look at these slides, we have mentioned the key functionalities of our application. That seamless integration with SAP, that is very important for all back wherever we have ERP, SAP as a ERP. Then self assignment of work, release order, create inspection lot, then download MICs. So these are the key functionalities. We have display characteristics, capture measurements, configurable approval workflow. Okay, that, and you will see all those features in our application demo. So through all these features or in functionalities, we the application really gives you benefit in terms of increasing productivity and efficiency and saving the time. So 100% paperless. This is 30% increase in productivity. This is one of the, out of some of the success stories where we have implemented the solution. We have measured this percentage. Okay, so and very importantly, 80% reduction in TCO. That is again very important. So if you look at with this, I will hand over it to Ashish for the application. Ashish will first brief of you about application. He will explain the process workflows, and then he will show the application demo. Ashish, over to you.
Thank you, Murli. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, you are audible, Ashish. You go ahead.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen. So, as explained by the Murli, the key benefits of the mobile application for the calibration process. So, for the mobile application, we have built the processes. We have built a process based on the company and business requirement. So, this one is the calibration process flow. So in the calibration process flow, this calibration application is built using the SAP UI5, and it will work in the online as well as offline. So in most of the industries, like in the production area, there is no internet connectivity available. So that time, if you have downloaded the data in the morning, then you can execute the whole maintenance activity, calibration activity in the offline using this application. So here we have added the blocks, like if for this functionality you have to go online, and remaining for the remaining functionality, the offline which will work, we have added the block like offline here. So I will start from this process flow. So like your order creation for the plant calibration, it will happen in your system only. Based on that, all your calibration orders will download in your mobile application whenever you will get login into the application. So once you log in into the application, you have the scenarios like work assignment. Like in most of the industry, the same person can execute the activity. So like in SAP, if you are getting the list of orders in IW 39 or 38, the same thing will be available in the mobile application. That I will demonstrate after this. Okay. So work assignment, like if you have the process where the supervisor can assign the scenario, yes. So that one is also available. Then the step is like master selection, where user will select the master which will be required for performing the calibration. Then user can release the order from the tablet itself. If you have SAP PM integrated with the QM for the calibration, then automatically the inspection lot will generate here. And based on that inspection lot, whatever the points MICs you have assigned to that specific inspection lot will download for capturing the readings. Then for the fourth point, here we have build custom probe. Okay, so this is depend on your business process. If you don't want, then we can remove it. If you want, or if you want the additional approval process, so that one also we can add. So this one will work the this one will work in the offline. So first one is the like pre-approval by business user. So before starting the calibration activity, the person from the production area, who will give the instrument for the calibration will provide the pre-approval. That means there is no batch is going on and you can start the calibration activity. So we have added that one as a pre-approval. The next one is the equipment verified by barcode scanner. Like most of the industries are currently enabled the barcode at the instrument. Okay, so this will helps and ensures that the technician is performing the calibration of the same instrument or not. That one will be the equipment barcode, equipment verification by barcode scanner. Then once the whole activity is done and user is ready to start the result recording, so user can capture the reading. So here also we have the points like fixed point calibrations. Fixed means in the task list only you have assigned the MICs, and based on the MICs user will capture the reading. Like some industries want dynamic calibration because they don't know what will be the exact master value they have to set. So that time dynamic calibration scenario is also added in this. If you are not using the SAP QM module, you are doing the calibration with the measuring point. So the same application can be utilized for the measuring points as well. Then the point number 6 is the material reservation. For any failure of the instrument, if you want to reuse that one, if you have the scenario that you want to reuse, you can reuse it by changing the material or something. So that time you can consume the material as well directly from the application. Then once the whole activity is completed, it will go for the block number 7 where user can do the post approval. So the post approval can be done by your production person or it can be done by your supervisor. It depends how your SOP, how it is mentioned in your SOP. Okay, so here the production person can do the post approval. Then the supervisor will check that the user has entered the proper reading or not. Then he will provide the approval. So for this approval process also we have added the digital signature where user can enter his ID and PIN, which will be unique for all the users considering the 21 CFR. And based on that, the user can provide the approval. So once you are done with the point number 8, we have added the functionality for label printing. So the label printing will work in the offline. So for that we have enabled the Bluetooth printer like Zebra or anyone, and we are connecting it with the tablet with the help of Bluetooth, and based on that you can print the label. So this label based on your SOP or format we can customize it, and you can directly stick at the instrument once the calibration is done. So once you are done with the whole calibration, so this activity is completed totally in the offline. So now if you want to upload the data to the system or SAP, so that time we have provided one button like sync data. So that time the whole data will upload to the and update to the SAP. So once you are done with the SAP, right, currently you are following the manual process, you are capturing the results on the paper and then you are maintaining the papers in the file. So all this activity will be removed here. So all the data will be available in your system. So whenever you have the audit or someone asks you to show me the report for the specific calibration done for the instrument, directly in the system, we will provide you on the T code and here you will get all the format same as your current manual paper copy with the entered readings and approvals, everything will be available. Okay, so this is the process flow that we have built, and this process flow is totally configurable based on the business requirement. We can add or remove the any functionality. So I will demonstrate now the whole process, whole demo, how it will work in the application. So now I am sharing the application, how it will work. So this one will be the login screen. So once on the login screen, the technician will enter his ID and password. So once user enter the ID and password, it will validate with your system that user is entering the correct or not. So based on the correct, it will log in into the application. So now here you are getting, so this screen will be for the technicians. Okay. So now suppose in your business scenario, if you don't have the scenario like technician can assign the order to himself, but you have the scenario where supervisor can assign the work to the technician. So that time we will provide you the two different links will be available. And based on that, the supervisor can assign the work to the technician. And in the technician on the tablet mobile application will get only this specific tab. So the technician has to just execute the maintenance activity. So here, like your IW39, the whole list of the calibration orders based on your tolerance will download here. Here you will get all the details like instrument SAP ID, internal ID of your instrument, description, block, calibration schedule date, and if you have additional information will be available on this I button. Now, if you want to search if you have the thousands of orders available for the calibration and you want to search a specific order, so here we have provided the fuzzy search. Now, suppose I just know the something between the instrument take ID like PG/01. So I will enter PG/01. So it will search the specific only PG/01 orders specific to that instrument take ID. Just suppose I know order number having the 41, so I will enter just 41 here. Now, suppose you want to do search this based on your calibration schedule date. So here we have provided the button like for filtering based on your calibration schedule date. Now, here, suppose you have logged into the application and some new orders are generated into the system. So that time you can do the download data. So latest orders will download here. Now the order assignment process. So now suppose user had decided to work on this specific calibration of the specific order. So that time user has to just click on this radio button. So once you click on this radio button, so request will go to the backend and it will assign and it will display in the my orders bucket here. So currently I have assigned 2 orders. So it is displaying 2 orders here in the list. Okay. Now suppose I want to start the calibration activity for this specific instrument. So that time I want to go for the order detail screen. So I will click on this row. Once I click on this row, here I will get the whole instrument details. What is the calibration range, instrument range, acceptable limit, list count, criticality ranking, and all these details are available. So all this application is configurable. If some fields, if you see like some fields are missing, so yes, we can add it. Then we have built a process flow. Like first one is the instrument selection, then pre-approval, measurements, additional information, and review. So for the master instrument selection, in the master instrument case as well in most of the industries, the external or vendor is coming. So we have built one program in the SAP. So you can enter the details of your external vendor master instrument in the system. So that will be the one-time activity. And based on your instrument, which master instruments are required, that we can display here in the list. So it will be easy for the technician to select the instrument. Instead of going with thousands of the master instruments available in the system, we will show the specific instruments which are applicable for your calibrating instrument. So from this block, user can select the master instrument which is required for the calibration, and then user can add it. Once you have added, it will display here. So here we have provided the deletion for removing the selected master instrument. Like sometimes wrongly user has selected the master instrument, so that time user can remove it. So if the application is integrated with the QM module, so here if you see the inspection lot number is right now not applicable. If I release the order, so once you release, the request will go in the backend and then the inspection lot number will download here. See, like the inspection lot number is downloaded here. So automatically once I have released, the release is successful, the program will go for the next step like pre-approval. So here, this one is the custom which is not available in the SAP as well. So this one is a pre-approval process which is specially built for the pharma industry where multiple approvals are required, and considering the 21 CFR and other audit purpose, they want everything like based on the date and time stamp and everything which user has provided the approval. So we have built this scenario. So this one is also configurable. If you have the multiple approval process, we can add the multiple approvals here based on your user status or customization that one is required. Or if you don't want this business pre-approval button, based on our configuration, we can remove it. So now, once the master instrument is selected, the user can go for the pre-approval. So once I click on the business pre-approval button, so this business pre-approval will be given by the owner of the instrument. So this technician will bring the tablet to the production area, and the owner of the instrument will enter his SAP ID in the tablet. Once the user is enter his ID, there will be a unique password for his system or your system SAP. So that ID will user enter here. He can enter the remark. So here, if they entered password and user is correct, so system will approve it and it will store in the offline. So from this pre-approval, the whole process will work in the offline. Okay. And here we have provided the sync data. So whenever the user has completed the activity, that time only user will click on the sync data and the whole performed transaction in the tablet will update to the system. So right now I have completed the pre-approval process. So once the pre-approval is done, then the system will ask me for the verify instrument. So in the verify instrument, we have two options like scan, barcode scan. Like in most of the business, they don't have the barcode enabled at instrument level. So that time we have provided the provision for manual verification. So user will check that he is performing the calibration of this same instrument or not. Okay. So once you are done with the verify instrument, so automatically my start button will activate. So from this start button, my actual maintenance activity, my confirmation will capture from this activity. So now I have taken the pre-approval, I have verified the instrument, then I can go for starting the calibration. So once I click on the start order button, here we have added these scenarios. Like in most of the cases, your master is displaying the value in the degree Celsius, but you want it in ampere or something. So if you have the provision for the conversion, so that we have added here. So we will go without no conversion. So it will ask for the confirmation. So now once I have started the order, automatically it will redirect me to the measurements tab. So in the measurements tab, so whatever currently, if you are doing manually, you have one raw data sheet. So the same raw data sheet we can replicate in the mobile like this. Okay, so here user has to just enter the readings. What is the result he is getting at specific points. Now suppose my master reading is 10 and I have to capture. So suppose my reading is coming as a 10.6. Okay, so here automatically in the system, in the mobile application, for each reading it will display that the user the entered reading is going outside the limit or not. If it is going outside for that specific point or that specific reading, the system will display that reading is failed. Okay, so it will avoid that the user is entering the wrong value, that it can be avoided. So now I will enter here 10.5. Now, similarly, the user can go for the second point. So for suppose 20, at the point of 20, I am getting the value of 19.6. So that I will enter. Then for the third point, for I have to capture the reading for 25. Suppose reading is 25, so I will enter that one. Once I have entered all the readings, I can save it. So all these things are currently stored in the mobile app only. I have saved the readings. Now, if I want to add some additional information, if like you have the scenario, you want more fields which are you have configured in the SAP and that you want to capture in the report. So I have added here 4 fields like receiving condition of the instrument. Then temperature of the room where this calibration is executed. That temperature we can enter like 36 degrees Celsius. Then what was the humidity of that specific room that we can enter. Then remark, the executor, the technician can enter his remark. So once whole activity is done, if you have to go, if you want to select the material, then here material provision is available where user can add the material from the available list. Now once the activity is done, user can save the readings, save the additional information captured here, and now user can confirm and proceed. So if user want to see the results, what actual points he has captured, user will click on this measurement tab and user can check it. User can user can edit it if there is found something wrong. Now, once user has confirmed the activity, so after the confirmation, the system will not allow to change or edit anything here. I will confirm. Now see, once I have done the confirm, so everything will be get blocked. So here user will don't have any access to edit it. Okay, like in some industries at the time of check by, the supervisor should have the provision to change the reading if anything is wrong, so that we can provide if it is required. So here, once the whole result recording is done, here user can do the post approval process where the check by will be done by the supervisor of the technician. So the supervisor will check that the entered readings are correct or not, and based on that, the supervisor will provide the approval. So now here you can see that this instrument can be used. So based on your enter results, if everything is passed, so automatically it will display the usage decision like this for this order, this instrument can be used or cannot be used. If any reading is fail, so based on that, the automatically for the engineer it will display like this instrument is fail and this cannot be used. So here the engineer will enter his ID and based on it, user can submit. Here you will get like digitally check by and what was the date and time, it will capture you. Once the whole activity is done, then finally the technician will hand over the instrument to the production person, and the technician will take the post approval from the production person. Okay, I have hand over the instrument to the production person. So here the production person will enter ID and his unique pin. Here he will enter the remark. Instrument is hand over like this, and then user will submit. So once the whole activity is done, after completing the whole activity, user can go back to the home and user can execute the remaining activity. Like in most of the calibration cases, at the same time, user have for the temperature sensor or pressure gauge, user is executing the multiple instruments at a time. So yes, you can execute the multiple calibration at a time as well. Like you have entered the one reading for this, then you can go to back and again enter the reading for other orders. Like that you can do for the next order you can do. So once the whole activity is done, user will click on the sync data. So once you have click on the sync data, the whole activity executed in the mobile will upload to the system. So once you have done, here also the provision of label printing where you can print the label. Now, once you are done with this activity, now you don't need to carry or keep any hard copies. You can directly take the printout. You can directly preview the your report in the system. That format I can show you. Like this, you will get. Let me share my screen for the report. See, this one will be your just like a certificate. So it is configurable based on your requirement. We can add or remove the fields. So here you are getting the calibration order, then inspection lot number, equipment or instrument details, then which instrument you have selected for completing the calibration, that details are available. And in the bottom you will get the details like performed by which executor has executed the activity. Here we can display the date and timestamp, and then next it will be checked by which supervisor has checked by it. That details will be available. And in the next page, here you will get the details of the entered readings. So if you have captured the 2 or 3 readings, so that details we can capture here based on the error, and result will be available as a pass or fail. And if the whole instrument calibration is passed and result is can be used, so that it will be captured along with the remark and date and time stamp. So whole this report format is a configurable. So this is just one sample report. So if you have some specific different format, yes, the same thing we can fetch because we have to just fetch the data. This one is the whole calibration digital process.
Thank you. It is a really good demo. So I think we will open the session for question and answer, Paresh. If anybody has questions, we can either you can type it in the chat box, or you can um, raise the hand so that we can unmute you, and we can have the question answer session. Please let us know anybody has any question. In the meantime, we also wanted to have one quick question poll, just two, three questions to um, get connected with you quickly after the session as well. So, Paresh, can you run the question poll? Yeah. So here is this small question poll. In fact, the first question is: are you currently facing any challenges in calibration process? So please let us know on that. The second is, yes, would you like to have 15 minutes dedicated discussion with Crave team so that we'll understand more about your current activity, current penetration of digitalization systems, and the pain areas, so that we can further brief you better on Crave solution part. Then the third question is in relation to that only, whether if you are okay with 15 minutes dedicated session, then we can probably connect with you, we'll contact you, and we'll further interact with you for the needful. So please share your opinion over here in this poll. And the last question was the whether the webinar you found helpful to you. I hope this was informative and helpful to you to understand more about Crave solution. Uh,
Sir, there
yeah,
is one question
yes,
from
I'm going to that. Yeah, so Mr. Jivan, yes, this you asked whether it is SAP based calibration. So yes, yeah, actually, Ashish, would you like to brief about that? Our solution is SAP developed and directly gets integrated with SAP. But Ashish, would you like to explain this
Yeah,
here?
so it is SAP based. Like if you have currently the SAP implemented, or if you don't have, if you are planning for the implementation of SAP, so both we can do and integrate this application. But if you have some other system which you are currently using for the calibration, so for with that system also we can integrate it. Okay.
So I'm just typing here the um, our mail ID. It is crave at contact at craveinfotech.com. I'll give you here. Um, Paresh, can you just type it over here? I'm not able, I think there is some issue with my laptop, so I'm not able to type it. So the mail ID to connect will be contact at craveinfotech.com. You can connect with us on that. You can send your queries over there, and we can connect you back. So if is there any further question, or shall we close this session? Yep, I think we'll close this session. And thank you very much again for joining this webinar, and we will connect you one on one. You will also receive the recording of this webinar so that you can come back to us for any further queries. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. Thank you so much. With this, we are closing this session.